Today, we are going to talk about the post-Korean War conflict. This is the story of how the Korean War did not truly end in 1953 and how a secret war replaced the open battle lines on the Korean Peninsula. There was no large-scale invasion, no shifting front lines on the map, yet people continued to die. Through assassinations, infiltrations, psychological warfare, and constant tension along the Demilitarized Zone, this post-Korean War conflict became one of the most dangerous confrontations in modern history. And to this day, it still has no official ending. The Korean War ended in 1953. At least, that is what the world was told. International newspapers spoke of peace. Maps were redrawn. The cannons fell silent. But on the Korean Peninsula, no one truly believed that the war had ended. Because what was signed in 1953 was not a peace treaty. It was only an armistice. And between armistice and peace, there exists a deadly gap. A peace without peace. The 1953 armistice ended open fighting between the two Koreas. But it did not recognize each other's sovereignty. It did not resolve the root causes of the conflict. It did not define a shared future. The two sides simply stopped shooting. Between them appeared a new line, the DMZ, the Demilitarized Zone. It sounds peaceful. But in reality, it is the most heavily militarized area on the planet. Both sides point their guns at each other. Only a few hundred meters apart. And always ready to open fire. Peace, if it exists at all, exists only on paper. When war no longer has the sound of cannons. From the late 1950s through the 1970s, war on the Korean Peninsula shifted into a new form. Historians call it low-intensity conflict. But low does not mean safe. This was the era of spies instead of divisions, daggers instead of artillery, propaganda instead of bombs. North Korea began deploying secret special operations units. They crossed the DMZ at night, hid themselves in forests and mountains, infiltrated deep into South Korean territory. Their goal was not to seize land, but to undermine belief. Assassinations, sabotage, inciting political instability. On the other side, South Korea and the United States did not remain passive. Counterintelligence networks were expanded. Reconnaissance operations were carried deep into North Korean territory. Psychological warfare took place every day. Loudspeakers roared along the DMZ. Leaflets fell from the sky. Radio broadcasts transmitted carefully calculated messages. Each side claimed it was only defending itself. Each side denied offensive actions. But in reality, the war continued just in the shadows. Events that never appeared in textbooks. In 1968, a group of North Korean commandos secretly infiltrated Seoul. They advanced toward the South Korean presidential palace, only a few hundred meters away. Their objective was to assassinate the head of state. The operation failed. But it shocked all of South Korea. That same year, the U.S. reconnaissance ship USS Pueblo was captured by North Korea. Its crew was imprisoned. Washington found itself in a dilemma. Across the DMZ, ambushes, sniper attacks, and kidnappings occurred continuously. Deaths that never made international newspaper front pages. This was not peace. This was a hidden war. The climax of an undeclared conflict. In 1976, at the DMZ, a group of US and South Korean soldiers carried out a seemingly harmless task. Cutting down a poplar tree that blocked visibility. There was no warning. No gunshots fired first. But in just a few short minutes, everything spiraled out of control. 2 US officers were beaten to death with axes. The news spread like lightning. The entire Korean Peninsula stood on the brink of full-scale war. The United States responded immediately. Bombers were deployed. Overwhelming military forces were mobilized. The world held its breath. Just one small mistake more, and history could repeat itself with a new war. But in the end, war did not break out. And that very moment made the world realize something terrifying. The Korean War had never truly gone to sleep. A war without an end. After 1953, Korea did not enter a post-war era. They entered a state of permanent war unofficially. No constant thunder of artillery, but always filled with fear and suspicion. No clear front lines, yet death was always present. No peace treaty, only deterrence through fear. That is why, even today, a single missile test can shake the world. A minor clash at the DMZ can trigger catastrophe. Korea after 1953 is not peace. It is a frozen war. And its most dangerous aspect is that it has never ended. A final message to the audience. If you once believed that war only exists when bombs are falling, then this story shows a different truth. Sometimes, the most dangerous war is the one no one officially declares. And on the Korean Peninsula, that war is still ongoing.